don't allow somebody else to determine what you are. You need to determine that.
What's up, guys? My name's Chris. I'm an entrepreneur in Sarasota. This year, I'm sitting down with business owners to learn all about their journeys, their triumphs, their struggles, and everything they've learned along the way. Today, we're discussing how to define yourself by your own rules with Charles Bryant. This is Stir. Charles Bryant, tell us, who are you?
I am a 39-year-old financial planner in the Sarasota, Florida area that has started his own business about 6 years ago. I went completely independent and decided that, corporate America was no longer for me. And I wanted to be able to tell and control my own story and my own destiny moving forward. That was very, very important for me. And, I feel like I've accomplished that. I still have a long track road to go, or a runway to go, but it's been a blessing thus far.
Okay, so 6 years in, why here in Sarasota as opposed to somewhere else?
I mean, to be completely honest, man, this place is freaking beautiful. It's like paradise down here. It really is like living in the islands or something like it. A lot more expensive, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But it's worth the risk, and it's worth my time because I just felt like, if I could find a way to live in a place like this for a while, like I'd probably do pretty well in life. Sarasota compared to the rest of the country in terms of median income, household income, per capita income, pretty high, especially in Sarasota County specifically is, I believe, second highest in the state behind Palm Beach County. So for what I do, it's pretty much a gold mine. Now my social life sucks. It's horrible. But besides that, I mean, I'm not really here for that right now. I'm really focusing on my career, building my business, building my practice up as big as I can possibly get it. And then from there, I'll focus on all the other ancillary things.
Fill in those blanks later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us about your ideal client and what it is that you do for them.
Yeah, so I work with individuals, small businesses, and families to try and make sure that they can accomplish whatever financial goals they set up for themselves. A lot of times I think that people just feel like they should just throw money at the market just because they heard it's the right thing to do. Right. When in actuality, the only reason why people are actually putting their money at risk is because they want to accomplish things later on in life. They want to be able to travel. They want to be able to buy a home. They want to be able to buy a car. And they need the funds to facilitate that, and all I'm doing is I'm basically being a shepherd to them in that journey. Being the fact that I'm independent, it's a lot more personal because I feel like I no longer have the conflicts of interest that I had when I was in corporate America. When you are a bank advisor or a wirehouse advisor, i.e. working for, let's say, the likes of a SunTrust Bank or a Merrill Lynch or something like that, your loyalties really are to the shareholders, right? Sure. You can say till you're blue in the face that your loyalties are to your individual clients. Well, I can give you specific examples of past history of how that's not true. And on top of that, the reason why I chose to be independent is I no longer wanted to have those conflicts of interest. I wanted to be able to look you dead in your face and say, I'm doing everything that I'm doing, everything that I'm building for you right now is specifically for you and your family, not for the entire constituency of the market. You know what I mean? So, because let's be frank here, half of America doesn't even own stock. Like most people don't even realize that. And even of that subset of half of America, the majority of that money is in qualified accounts like 401ks, retirement accounts, and things like that. So that small subset of people is really managed by a group of banks, a handful of banks. Right. So with that much power and that much influence, you can see how chances are when you walk into that same bank or wirehouse, you wouldn't get the experience that you would get with me. Right. Because, again, they have sales quotas they have to meet. They have shareholders that they have to be accountable to, and that's not always going to be in your best interest.
Right.
Like, do you really want your financial advisor making the decision on whether or not he's going to do the right thing for you or do the right thing for his own family because he's in a sales rep?
Right.
You know what I mean?
He has to. He's beholden to.
Exactly. Versus being with somebody like myself who has a vested interest in your growth, right? Because if your portfolio goes down 15, 20%, well, because I'm a fee-based advisor, basically what that means is I take a fee off the percentage of the assets that are held, right? So I have a vested interest to make sure that that value stays high, right? So when we're going through times like this, and unfortunately my clients are seeing declines in their counts, well, I'm also seeing declines, right? It affects me more, right? So I'm going to work harder and smarter to make sure that my clients not only cannot lose their way of living, but also prosper in the meantime.
You're invested right alongside.
Exactly. So it's just a better overall experience. And I think your average person, couple, family would prefer that.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I would. I don't want to be sitting there working with somebody that's not, doesn't have my best interests at heart.
Absolutely.
They're thinking about whatever quota they have to meet versus my own goals.
Right.
So makes complete sense. You mentioned individuals, families, small businesses. Is there a specific, small families, large families?
I mean, at the end of the day, I'd love to have Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I don't turn people away because they don't have a specific number, right? I think that's very, very important. I don't come from this privileged lifestyle to where I feel as if I can't help somebody else. The whole reason why I have a business right now is because the community here in this area has given me an opportunity and given me a chance to prove myself. You know what I mean? I knew nobody in this town when I moved here. Well, with the exception of one person. But the fact that I now know the mayor, I now know several influential business owners, politicians, you name it, right? And it's all because I believed in this sense of community. I believed that if I gave to the community would give back to me. And, that has always been at the core of my ethos. You know what I mean? I don't mince words with people. I'm pretty blunt and direct with people. And I think that they like that about me. But I couldn't tell you how many people helped me get here. There's a couple that I have in Bradenton who's been with me since the absolute beginning. And if it wasn't for that couple, I couldn't tell you I could have a business right now that's thriving. You know what I mean? So I'm extremely grateful to those individuals who have put their trust in me to help them navigate, these sort of situations. And, I told them, I promised them that I would not let them down, and I don't plan to. Yeah. So, yeah. I've worked for several different financial institutions. I worked for insurance companies, banks, wirehouses, and all they did was teach me how not to run a business. I don't need to treat people different because they have they come from different walks of life. I don't need to treat people differently because they have different levels of income. You know what I mean? If you want advice, you're going to get it here. And if you want to have a better standard of living, you're going to get that here. That's what I'm selling. You know what I mean? That I'm selling a process that over time, I'm going to make sure that you accomplish your goals. It's not about, just, hey, I got $10,000. What do I do with it? You know what I mean? This is very relationship based.
Yeah. What's the long term?
Exactly. And we need to come up with a strategy that's going to help you not only retire, but pay for your child's education. You know what I mean? We're going to make sure that we implement a plan that protects your long-term health care, right? So, these are things that people all have to do, right? No matter what the industry. So if you're a plumber, if you're an electrician, if you're a digital marketer, we all got to retire at some point.
We hope.
Right? We hope. You're right. We hope.
I too believe in giving back to the community. You know that.
Absolutely.
I know that you're involved with a number of things. Tell us, like, what are you doing in the community currently?
Well, I sit on the board of a very, very cool nonprofit called Take Stock in Children. I got involved with them back in 2012. And this is prior to that, I had been involved with local YMCAs, being a coach, being a mentor. Big Brothers Big Sisters had a program that I was a part of for a while. And like I said, I really adapted to that mantra of if you give to the community will give back to you. So my whole kind of selling process used to be, well, you can trust me with your kids, you can trust me with your money, right? So it opened a lot of doors for me. And, at the end of the day, some of those people are still clients now. I'm very, very proud to say that, I've, been able to help people put their kids through school and things like that. Like, those are the things that I'm very, very happy about when you get to go to your client's child's wedding, you know what I mean? And go kick it with them and their families, you know what I mean? Those are days that really, really, bring value to my life because I see some of the fruits of my labor. You know what I mean? And, when my clients are inviting me to events like that, it's just extremely moving for me on a personal basis because they didn't have to choose me. You know what I mean? They have every choice in the world to go right down the street and choose somebody else. I think it's a testament to how I've treated them, to the fact that we have a family over here at Lone Star. I'm a very family oriented person. Love my mom, my sister. Unfortunately, my father passed away back in 2014. But some of the things that I learned from him were to persevere. No matter what the odds, that you can always get things done. Case in point, right now we're going through the difficult markets, but we've gone through difficult markets before. Yeah. Back in 2011, back in 2015. One thing that's going to be constant is going to be volatility. And if you can help people prepare for it and understand how and why it comes, you can do pretty well, So I think it's just a matter of me just being open and honest with people that really helps my sanity. You know what I mean? Yeah, so when most people would probably be worried about I'm really not. You know what I mean? I guess I'm just very, very confident in the amount of time and work that I put into this. That I'm not saying that I can't make a mistake. Nobody is infallible, right. But I think that I can definitely mitigate a lot of mistakes.
Your experience, you've been through it before, like you said, 2011, 2015. Yeah. Is there something that we should know about the market right now?
Depending on where you are in life, whether or not you are, a little bit more seasoned and thinking about retirement in the next 3 to 5 years. Well, yeah, I'm sure you probably have some concerns, but just like I do to that same demographic, you still have to plan for an additional 20 to 25 years of life. So why so concerned? Why so conservative now? You know what I mean? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That strategy doesn't hold a whole lot of weight, but I know they're getting that advice somewhere else, right? Because there's technically a lot of individuals in this business who we aren't all created equal. Let me put it to you like that. We don't all focus on markets or capitalism or economics. Some people are just kind of paper pushers. And I've never wanted to be that. You know what I mean? I've always wanted to be in that process or in that conversation of every single capital expenditure for my clients. So before my client says, okay, I'm gonna push a button on getting this new mortgage or getting this new car, let me call Charlie, let me see, maybe I should finance it a specific way or something along those lines. And now that's getting pretty consistent with my client base. So normally, most people wouldn't really contact their financial advisor for that. But nowadays, because I've been able to show the value of having those conversations with me, right, and help my clients avoid certain mistakes and pitfalls, that's why they now come to me. And that's all I've ever wanted. You know what I mean? Yeah, I've put myself in this position to worry about the markets as much as they are because I wanted that responsibility. I wanted that challenge, right? Just like you talk about why Sarasota. Sarasota was a big challenge for me because there was nobody like me here, right? And, that was very, very intriguing to me to now be or could possibly be the face of something big, you know what I mean? And not only that, but given my philanthropic endeavors, it's important for me to show young African American men that we don't all have to be a specific profession, or we don't all have to talk in a specific way. You know, we can do whatever the heck we want. And with a little bit of time, effort, perseverance, because it's tough. You know, at the end of the day, it's rare to find brokers in my position at my age. I'm 39 years old, but I'm about 20 years younger than your average financial advisor in this country. And even less of them are independent on top of that. So, you know, I'm proud in that fact, and I'm very, very happy in the fact that I've been able to accomplish what I've gotten to thus far. However, I'm not even close to being done. Yeah. Like, I still sit up at night worrying about things because it's like, it's not perfect. You know what I mean? It's like, if you really want to run and own your own business and have the flexibility that the wealthiest people in the world want to have, it's not easy. You know this and I know this. Like, we sit up at night wondering how we're going to get to that next meal sometimes, you know what I mean? How we're going to keep our employees happy, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's so much we have to be worried about. And not only that, you also have to be worried about your clients' insecurities, their fears, in conjunction with my own.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Call you with them.
Exactly. You know, so not only am I like the secret keeper and the gatekeeper for all of them, but I also have to find a way to compartmentalize my own stress and my own issues, because I have to keep a clear head. The second I let, you know, extracurricular activities, you know, boggle my mindset, right? That's when mistakes happen, and people lose money.
Because you lose focus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want that to happen on my watch. So I try to have different activities, like I'll go play basketball with you from time to time, or, you know, you got to have that place of peace, or that place where you can just clear your head and get focused. And, you know, one thing I've always been able to do is focus better than a lot of other people. You know what I mean? When I set my mind to something, it's like, it's getting done. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. It's not a question of how or if, it's a question of when. Right. And that was probably the best piece of advice I think I got years and years ago from a friend of mine. He said, because I was struggling to try to pass my Series 7. And that's the entrance exam that you have to get into the business. And I was like, man, I don't know if I'm ever going to do this. He said, Charlie Brown, that's my nickname. He says, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. From that moment, it's like, whew, you know, it's like you get that woo-saw moment. Yeah. So it was like that. And from that point on, it was like my level of focus was absolutely just spot on, you know what I mean? And everything I wanted to do and accomplish started to happen. So, you know, sometimes we all need to hear something or feel something in order to give us that energy to go accomplish what we want to accomplish. So when I'm sitting across from a particular couple, you know, thinking about what their future goals are and what they want to accomplish, all I want to do is sit back and listen. I don't need to be the person speaking the entire time, right? I get that you want to learn, right? But it's not my job. All my job here is to guide you, right? You pretty much know what you want to do and how you're going to get there, right? Sometimes you may need a little push in one direction or the other. And most times you just need somebody to make sure that you don't make a mistake.
Yeah, mitigate the risk.
Right. So that's why I'm more of just a risk manager more than anything, because look, I deal with adults. I'm not dealing with the children out here, right? It's a daunting task, but like I said, it's something that I asked for.
You signed up for it.
Exactly, and I love it. And if I didn't love it, I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? But I'm extremely passionate about this business.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I mean, that's the way I put it. Is as an entrepreneur, I signed up for it. You know, the best way I ever heard it described was Vaynerchuk said, when you're the owner, and things go bad or something comes up, you can't look to your left and say, what do we do now, boss? Right. Like, if you're a CEO or COO or anything like that, you might be high up, but when it hits the fan, you got somebody to look to and say, what do we do now? When you own the company, it all comes back on you. So, but that's the challenge that we signed up for. Right. So I appreciate it. Tell me about, you know, you said 6 years ago you started the business, you went independent. Yeah. Tell me about the night before you started your business?
Yeah, that was scary. When I finally went to go get like my tax ID number from the IRS and also, paying my fees on sunbiz.org and all that other type stuff, that last click of that button was extremely scary. Yeah. There's so many different ways it can go because obviously the failure rate of small businesses is extremely high. Yes. But if you can just find a way to persevere, I can tell you there's nothing like running your own business and being independent and having no strings attached. You know what I mean? It is the most liberating thing in the world. But, as, experience, you get more time under your belt, you start to have this sense of calm. And I think the one thing that makes me a better trader, advisor, you name it, is my temperament. I think because I never get rattled. Yeah. There's a lot of things that I've done in my life that are a lot more difficult than dealing with the stock market. Yeah. So for me, just keeping my emotions even keeled helps me help my clients. One of the main things I want to make sure that I convey to my client base is just that you're dealing with somebody who has integrity. You know what I mean? Most people just want to deal with somebody who's just going to do right by them. I get a lot of people that come up to me and instead of them thinking that I'm a business owner, they automatically think I'm an athlete. I'm 6'5", 230 pounds. Right. I get it. But that's because that's a stereotype that's projected. Not because you should actually think that way, So when I finally turn around and tell people, no, I run my own business and, I'm a financial planner and, I'm actually a pretty intelligent guy, their mood just changes. You know what I mean? I'm kind most of the time about it, but there are times where it really gets to me because I've worked hard, extremely hard, to not pit myself into a box. And not only be known as one thing, right? So I think it's very, very important. I wish a lot more other young people would do that. You know what I mean? Like, don't allow somebody else to determine what you are. You need to determine that.
Yeah. You're 6 years in.
Yeah.
What would you tell Charles, year one Charles? What would you say to him that he didn't know?
Stay humble. No matter what, stay humble. Persevere, stay humble, and most importantly, do not change who you are. I think the main reason why I've been able to continue to have people refer to me is my personality. You know what I mean? Like, I really feel like I get along really, really well with people. I'm extremely understanding. Easy to talk to, and I'm never gonna tell you that we can't get something done. You know what I mean? No is just not really in my vocabulary. I've always, no matter whether or not it was school, in high school, college, sports, you name it, I always found a way, and this is no different. It's just a lot more serious.
It's just a whole lot more serious, that's right. All right, well, I appreciate it. I hope that, somebody's watching that will take some of these lessons and apply it to their own business, their own life. And, the goal with these are to help, as you mentioned, a lot of small businesses fail. So I want to help more people learn from the things that we've done along the way and curtail that failure rate for small businesses. And I'm sure that they'll pick up some things from this. So I appreciate the time.
Thank you. I appreciate you.